Unfortunately, you are learning skills the wrong way. The cycle of passive learning, watching, reading, and hoping that something will stick, doesn't really lead to mastery. But here's the good news. There is a faster, more effective way to learn. In this video, we're going to break down the science of learning and give you proven, research-backed techniques that will help you pick up new skills in record time. Whether you want to learn to play the guitar, speak a new language, or master a sport, these methods will take you there faster. Let's start by addressing the most common mistake people make when they're trying to learn something new: relying too much on passive learning. It's easy to fall into the trap of watching hours of tutorials or reading book after book, thinking you're moving forward. But here's the hard truth. Passive learning is a trap. It feels productive, but it's an illusion. When you sit back and absorb content without applying it, your brain isn't really working. Your brain is just taking in information and storing it, but it's not turning that information into practical, actionable knowledge. Have you ever watched a tutorial, thought you totally understood it, but then struggled to put it into practice? That's because you didn't engage enough with the material. Real learning happens when you step out of your comfort zone and take action. Think about the last time you really learned something difficult. Was it when you were rewinding, watching the same tutorial for the 5th time? Or was it when you had to figure something out yourself, maybe even making mistakes along the way? It was the second option, right? This is the concept of desirable difficulty. Your brain doesn't grow when learning is easy. The struggle, the mistakes, the problem solving, that's when real growth happens. It's uncomfortable, but it's also 10 times faster than passive learning. Now let's dig deeper into this idea of desirable difficulty. It may sound strange, but when learning feels hard, your brain actually starts to grow and strengthen. This is a key point that many people overlook. When learning feels too easy, your brain doesn't feel the need to push itself. It's like going to the gym and lifting weights that are too light. You won't get stronger because the weights don't challenge your muscles. But when you face challenges, when things don't come easy, that's when your brain kicks into gear. The brain starts forming new neural connections, which is essentially how you learn. This is why learning something new often feels frustrating and difficult. It's because your brain is working hard to adapt to new information and build connections. You might be wondering, why is it important to make learning harder? Here's why. Difficulty forces the brain to engage more deeply with the material. It creates what we call deeper processing. So next time you feel frustrated while learning, know that it's a sign you're actually growing. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful learning techniques out there: active recall. You've probably heard the saying, practice makes perfect, but I'm going to challenge that idea a little. It's not just about practicing, it's about practicing the right way. Here's a simple truth. You'll learn faster by testing yourself than by reviewing information. Think about it. When you test yourself, your brain is forced to recall information from memory. This is a mental workout. It forces your brain to work harder, which helps lock in the knowledge much more effectively. Studies have shown that active recall is 10 times more effective than simply reviewing notes or re-watching lessons. Why does this work so well? When you recall information from memory, your brain does something called memory retrieval, which signals that the information is important and needs to be retained. Think of it like saving a file on your computer. You don't save files unless they're important. The more you test yourself, the more your brain saves that information. Here's how you can apply this principle right away. If you're learning guitar, after learning a chord, look away from the chart and see if you can play it from memory. If you're preparing for an exam, instead of rereading your textbook, quiz yourself. Use flashcards, or even better, explain what you've learned to someone else. By testing your knowledge, you're forcing your brain to engage with the material at a deeper level. Here's a big misconception. Many people think that learning means collecting as much information as possible before they start applying it. But the truth is, learning doesn't happen until you do. The more you practice, the better you'll get. You don't need to memorize everything before you start. In fact, the best way to learn something is to dive in and start using what you know right away. For example, if you're learning to play chess, you don't need to memorize every strategy before you make your first move. Learn one strategy, apply it, and then adjust when things don't go as planned. This is a practical approach. You learn by applying what you know in real-world situations, and you fill in the gaps as you go. This approach speeds up your learning because you're not wasting time on theory that you might never use. You're focusing on what's most important right now. You'll quickly identify what works and what doesn't, and you'll be able to adjust as needed. One of the most important aspects of learning anything quickly is feedback. But feedback is not just about someone telling you how you're doing. Feedback is how you adjust, course-correct mistakes, and figure out what's working and what's not. Think about playing a video game. When you press a button and see a result on the screen, you immediately know whether your action was correct. If your character jumps too late or too early, you adjust. This is the power of feedback loops. You take action, you see the result, and then you adjust. When you're learning, feedback works the same way. If you mess up, you don't just give up. You learn. You analyze the mistake, understand why it happened, and figure out how to fix it next time. This process is how you level up your skills. There are two main types of feedback loops: positive feedback and negative feedback. Positive feedback reinforces good behavior. When you get something right, you feel a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction, which makes you want to keep doing it. Negative feedback, on the other hand, is about correcting mistakes. It's not about punishment. It's about learning. If you miss a shot or make a mistake, negative feedback helps you understand what went wrong and how to fix it. The key to improvement is to embrace both types of feedback. Without feedback, you're just practicing blindly. You might not even know that you're reinforcing bad habits. Feedback allows you to fine-tune your actions and accelerate your learning process. The faster you get feedback, the faster you improve. This is why video games are such great learning tools. They provide instant feedback. If you're learning a skill, it's essential that you get feedback as quickly as possible. If you wait too long, your brain won't remember what action caused the result, and you won't be able to adjust effectively. So when you're learning, make sure you get feedback quickly, whether it's from a mentor, a coach, or even self-assessment. Make sure you know what's working and what isn't as soon as possible. This will dramatically speed up your learning process. Finally, one of the best ways to learn faster is to surround yourself with experts. Experts aren't just people who know more than you. They are walking and talking cheat codes. They've already figured out the shortcuts, the best practices, and the techniques that would take you years to discover on your own. Being around experts helps you adopt their mindset, their methods, and their language. It accelerates your learning and holds you to higher standards. Plus, experts can give you critical feedback that will help you avoid making the same mistakes over and over. When you're around people who are better than you, your brain doesn't want to be the weakest link. It forces you to level up and rise to their level. That's the power of being around high achievers. Let's recap everything we've discussed. To learn anything faster, you need to move away from passive learning. Stop just watching and start doing. Embrace desirable difficulty. Struggling and making mistakes means you're growing. Use active recall to lock in information. Quickly apply what you learn right away instead of waiting until you know everything. Embrace feedback, both positive and negative, and adjust based on it. Seek instant feedback to make quicker improvements. Surround yourself with experts who can show you the way. By adopting these methods, you'll be learning faster than you ever thought possible. The key is to work smarter, not harder. So start applying these principles today and watch your skills skyrocket.